Hey, everybody, and welcome to this Christmas Eve deep dive
Oh, yeah.
into Christmas itself. We're going to be talking all about Christmas.
Perfect timing.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we've got a ton of sources here.
Right.
Encyclopedia entries, articles, even some historical accounts.
Yeah.
And
It's a lot to unpack.
yeah, we're ready to kind of dig in and uncover the surprising history and the evolution of this holiday.
Yeah, because Christmas is fascinating.
It is.
You know how it blends traditions?
Right.
Some going back centuries?
Way before
Christianity, even.
Christianity.
Yeah, we're talking about a holiday built on,
Right.
a foundation of midwinter celebrations.
So yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Like,
Yeah.
folks were already partying it up
They were?
during midwinter.
Oh, yeah.
Like long before Christianity came on the scene.
Yeah. And, our sources mention the Roman Saturnalia.
Oh yeah, Saturnalia.
That's a month-long festival.
A month long.
A whole month.
That's
Yeah, feasting, drinking, gambling.
Wow.
And all activities that were normally restricted,
Right.
they were allowed during Saturnalia.
So like they just went all out
They went all out.
for a month.
They even flipped the social order on its head.
What do you mean?
So enslaved people were temporarily freed,
Wow.
and they were served by their masters.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's like a deliberate inversion
It is.
of like societal norms.
Exactly.
It's almost like a safety valve
I think so.
for like pent up frustrations.
That's what I find so intriguing. It
Yeah.
highlights
This human
this human need to let loose.
to like challenge the established order,
Yeah.
especially during the darkest time of the year.
Right.
When you think about it.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of cultures had celebrations around the winter solstice,
Right?
which marked the return of the light.
The return of the
And it was a time of hope
right.
and renewal.
Renewal, yeah. And
Yeah.
all that feasting. It makes me think of all the practical reasons too
Oh, absolutely.
to celebrate this time of year.
Right.
Our sources talk about livestock being slaughtered
Right. You've got
and the completion of fermentation processes.
ample food and drink.
Yes. So you've
Right.
got food and drink.
Yeah.
You've got the darkest time of the year.
Yep.
So let's party.
Makes sense.
Right.
It all comes together.
It all comes together.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this ancient backdrop
We do.
of midwinter revelry,
Yes.
and then Christianity kind of enters the scene.
Right.
But it seems like they didn't even initially celebrate Jesus' birth,
Yeah, you're right.
did they?
It wasn't until the 4th century
The 4th century.
that December 25th
Okay.
was chosen as the date for Christmas.
Hmm.
And some historians believe
Okay.
this was a very strategic move
I see where you're going with this.
because they aligned it with the existing pagan festivities,
Oh, so smart.
like the Roman celebration of Mithra's birth
Yeah.
on that same date.
Yeah, so instead of trying to like stamp out these existing traditions, they just kind of incorporated them into
Yeah,
Christianity.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Very clever.
It's like a much easier
Right.
transition.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About how much of what we consider Christmas today
Right.
has roots in these much older traditions.
Exactly. And as Christmas evolved,
Yes.
that blending just continued.
It did.
Take medieval Christmas, for example.
Yeah.
It was a time of elaborate church services,
Of course.
but also feasting,
Right.
entertainment, gift giving.
Yes.
Not on December 25th, though.
No, not then.
Really?
New Year's Day.
Oh, wow.
Imagine that.
So they had to wait
They did.
a whole another week?
For presents.
Yes. Wow.
Talk about delayed gratification.
That's right.
Yeah.
But speaking of medieval times,
Yeah.
our sources highlight King Henry II
Yes.
and his crown wearings
the crown wearings.
during Christmas. Apparently, he held these events all over his kingdom,
He did.
visiting 24 different locations during his reign.
That's a lot.
Yeah, like what do you make of that?
Well, that's where you can really see
Okay.
how intertwined Christmas was with power and politics.
Oh, interesting.
These crown wearings weren't just religious observances.
Right.
They were grand displays of royal authority.
Oh, so like by associating himself
Exactly.
with Christmas, he's reinforcing his position
Exactly.
and connecting with his subjects.
On a symbolic level.
It's like the ultimate PR opportunity.
It is.
Right.
It's
Like showcasing the king's power and generosity
Right.
during a time of celebration.
It makes you wonder
It does.
how the common people
Right.
experience these events.
Like, were they swept up in it?
Yeah.
Or was it just a show of dominance?
Right.
Like, I don't know.
We can only speculate.
Yeah.
But it definitely underscores the fact
Okay.
that Christmas has never existed in a vacuum.
Right.
It's always been shaped by
the social and political forces
of the time.
of the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've journeyed from ancient solstice celebrations to medieval power plays,
Uh-huh.
all within this evolving story
Yes.
of Christmas.
The story of Christmas.
But things took a turn
they did.
towards the austere,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Our sources mention the Reformation
Yes, the Reformation.
and its impact on the holiday.
With the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century,
Okay.
there was a push to reform Christmas,
Okay.
to strip away what they saw as excess
Excess.
and to focus on the religious meaning.
Okay.
The
Same.
Puritans, for example,
Yeah.
they saw the holiday as too indulgent and unbiblical,
Really?
and that led to outright bans in some places.
Wow.
But even with those critiques,
Yeah.
Christmas remained popular,
Interesting.
adapting to the changing times.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it just kept going,
It did.
no matter what.
It persisted. It's pretty fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
How, despite attempts to suppress it or simplify it,
Right.
Christmas persisted,
Yeah.
finding new forms of expression.
It's like what drives that resilience.
I think so.
Yeah, like even with those Puritan bans, Christmas eventually bounced back.
It did.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened? Did people just miss their holiday revelry?
Well, it wasn't just about missing the parties.
Right?
You know, remember we're talking about a holiday with deep roots
Okay.
in midwinter celebrations.
Right.
That primal need to find light in the darkness,
Right.
to celebrate with loved ones during a harsh season.
Yeah.
Those desires,
They run deep.
they run deep.
Yeah.
You can't just get rid of that.
Right, like those underlying human needs and emotions
Right.
couldn't be fully suppressed.
Exactly.
No matter how strict the rules were.
No matter how strict.
Right. And then, of course, you have the Victorian era,
Yes.
which completely reshaped Christmas
They did.
into the family-centered.
The family-centered celebration we're more familiar with today.
Those
It
Victorian...
ends up to something.
Always up to something.
Right.
Right.
They loved their traditions.
Yes, they did.
And they were so good at making them catch on.
They really were.
Think about Queen Victoria and Prince Albert.
Okay.
They popularized the Christmas tree,
Oh, wow.
and they moved gift-giving to December 25th.
Wow. It's like a 19th century influencer campaign.
It is.
Like suddenly everybody wanted a Christmas tree
They did.
and presents on Christmas Day.
Everybody wanted to be like the royals.
So do you think it was just about mimicking the royals?
I think it was more than that.
Okay.
You know, the Victorians were undergoing
Okay.
rapid social and technological change,
Right.
which often creates a longing for stability and tradition.
Okay. I see.
And Christmas, with its emphasis on family,
Oh.
home, and familiar rituals,
Yeah.
provided a sense of comfort
Right.
and continuity.
In a rapidly changing world.
Yeah,
That's interesting how those themes still resonate today.
they do.
Even as we face our own set of rapid changes
We do.
and uncertainties.
Right?
Right? It's like we're constantly looking for ways to ground ourselves, to find meaning
Yes.
and connection.
You've hit on a crucial point.
Yeah.
You know, despite all the commercialization
Yeah.
and the modern day stresses,
Right.
Christmas still taps into those fundamental
Okay.
human desires.
So even with all the shopping
Yes.
and the decorating frenzy,
Right.
there's this underlying current
There is.
of wanting to connect with loved ones
Yes.
and maybe be a little bit kinder to each other.
be a little bit kinder, yeah.
It's almost like a collective deep breath.
It is.
Right.
It is.
A moment of shared humanity.
I think that yearning for connection
Yeah.
will only intensify
Okay.
as technology continues to evolve
Right.
and potentially isolates us in new ways.
Right. So like a digital detox Christmas.
Right.
I could get on board with that.
Yeah.
But what about the traditions themselves?
Tradition.
Yeah. How might they evolve?
Well,
Our sources mention some pretty unique traditions
yes,
from around the globe
they do.
showing how adaptable
How adaptable Christmas can be.
Christmas can be.
Think about it.
Okay.
In Australia, they celebrate Christmas on the beach.
What?
Yeah, barbecues and sunshine
Wow, a beach Christmas.
instead of snowmen and fireplaces.
That sounds pretty amazing right about now.
And in Greenland,
Okay.
They place an orange paper star in every window,
Oh, wow.
creating this beautiful luminous effect.
That's so cool. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and wait, didn't we read about Iceland having 13 Yule lads
We did.
instead of one Santa Claus?
Yes, 13 Yule lads.
That's wild.
It is, and that's what's so fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, Christmas seems to embrace these playful,
Okay.
even mischievous characters.
Right.
Whether it's those Yule lads,
Yeah.
the Italian gift-giving witch,
La Befana?
La Befana, yes. Or even our modern-day Santa Claus. It's like each culture takes the basic framework
Yes.
of Christmas, they do, and then injects its own unique flavor.
Exactly.
Right.
And they create this incredible tapestry of traditions.
And those variations aren't just about geographical location.
No.
Even within a single culture, like we were discussing with SantaCon in the U.S.,
Yes.
you see this constant reinvention
reinventions.
and reinterpretation.
reinterpretations.
Like Christmas provides this framework
Yes.
that people can then personalize and adapt to their own beliefs,
exact.
their own values, even their sense of humor.
Their sense of humor. Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of personal experiences,
Yes.
I've been thinking about my own family's Christmas traditions.
Oh, yeah.
We have this mix of Italian customs,
Yeah.
like the Feast of Seven Fishes
Oh, wow.
on Christmas Eve,
Yes.
blended with those classic American traditions like decorating the tree,
Right.
leaving cookies for Santa.
It's a lovely mix.
Yeah, it's a quirky mix that's unique to our family.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And, that's what I hope our listeners are taking away from this deep dive.
Yeah.
An appreciation for the richness and diversity
Right.
of Christmas traditions past and present.
Right. It's not about conforming to some idealized version of Christmas.
No.
It's about finding those elements
Exactly.
that bring you joy and meaning.
Those elements.
Whether it's the religious significance,
Yes.
the family gatherings, or simply the festive atmosphere.
It's whatever resonates with you.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid to create new traditions.
Right.
Or adapt old ones
To fit your own.
to fit your own life and values.
Yeah.
Christmas is a living tradition,
It is.
constantly evolving.
That's right.
And it's up to each of us to shape it in
Yeah.
a way that feels authentic and meaningful.
So we've explored how Christmas has evolved over centuries.
We have.
But what might it look like in the future?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will it continue to adapt and change with society,
Right.
reflecting our evolving values and concerns?
I mean, are some traditions just so deeply rooted? That's right. That they'll remain largely unchanged?
It's a fascinating question to consider.
It is.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's that.
How this one holiday Christmas
Yeah.
holds so many different meanings and possibilities.
Oh, no, right.
From ancient rituals to modern-day dilemmas.
It's all woven together.
It really is,
Yeah, it really highlights the dynamic nature of tradition.
doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Christmas is constantly evolving,
Right.
absorbing new influences while still holding on to those core elements.
Right, and think about all the different ways people celebrate around the world.
Yes.
From beaches in Australia to those glowing orange stars in Greenland.
It shows you how adaptable Christmas is.
It really does, yeah. And even within a single culture,
Right.
like we were discussing with SantaCon in the U.S.,
Yes.
you see this constant reinvention and reinterpretation.
It's like Christmas provides this framework
Okay.
that people can then personalize and adapt to their own beliefs,
Right.
their own values,
It's our own sense of humor.
even their sense of humor, exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of personal experiences,
Yes.
I've been thinking about my own family's Christmas traditions.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, we have this mix of Italian customs,
Okay.
like the Feast of Seven Fishes on Christmas Eve,
The Feast of Seven Fishes.
Yeah.
Love that.
blended with those classic American traditions like
Right.
decorating the tree and leaving cookies for Santa.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's this quirky mix
That's wonderful.
that's unique to our family.
And that's what I hope our listeners are taking away from this deep dive.
What's that?
An appreciation for the richness and diversity
Of Christmas traditions.
of Christmas traditions, both past and present,
Right. And an invitation to reflect on what this holiday means to them personally.
regardless of how they choose to celebrate.
That's right. It's not about conforming to some idealized version of Christmas.
No.
It's about finding those elements that bring you joy and meaning.
Exactly.
Whether it's the religious significance, yes,
The family gatherings,
the family gatherings,
or simply the festive atmosphere.
it's whatever resonates with you.
Right.
Don't be afraid to create new traditions.
Right.
or adapt old ones to fit your own life
Your own value.
and your own values, exactly.
You know, Christmas is a living tradition.
It is.
It's constantly evolving.
And it's up to each of us to shape it in a way that feels authentic and meaningful.
And as you're wrapping presents,
Yes.
lighting candles,
Yes.
maybe even enjoying a quiet moment by the fire,
Yes.
we want to leave you with one final thought to ponder.
One final thought.
We've explored how Christmas has evolved over centuries,
We have.
but what might it look like in the future?
Will it continue to adapt and change with society?
Right, reflecting our evolving values and concerns.
Or evolving values and concerns, exactly.
I mean, are some traditions just so deeply rooted
Yes.
that they'll remain largely unchanged?
It's a fascinating question to consider as you create your own Christmas memories this year.
Yeah.
And in the years to come. From all of us here at The Deep Dive, we wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Filled with joy, connection, and maybe even a few aha moments.
Aha moments.
As you explore the rich tapestry of this incredible holiday.
That's right. Happy holidays, everyone.